To order. This is the board meeting for the Anderson Preparatory Academy, April 26th board meeting. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we'll have a moment of silence for any of our past APA family who have gone on to the next world, and to any of those who are in need of prayer and thoughts, positive thoughts. We'll have a moment of silence. Okay. I never know if my moment of silence is long enough or too short.
I feel like that one
Well,
was
we'll have to
appropriate.
time it, I guess, next meeting.
Well, I usually count down 20 seconds. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented and posted.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as posted.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All four with the sign of aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay, the agenda's approved. Is there any public comment this evening? Did anybody register prior to? Nope. Okay. We'll move on to approval of the minutes. You should have received a copy of the minutes in your board packets. You need a board packet. We're approving the minutes from the March 29th, 2022, 6 o'clock meeting.
I'll move that we approve the minutes for the March 29th meeting as written.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Just like to thank Lori for running the meeting that night. I was ill, unable to attend, so thank you so much. Any discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Approval with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. CEO report.
Jill, I noticed you had listed several positions that we're trying to fill. Is that in any way related to a separate document which we received on our boardable software talking about possible givebacks on salary?
No.
If not, we can push that into the next budget. I thought perhaps there was a fit there. How are we coming on filling all of those right now?
Right now, we're just posted. I'm not supposed to be discussing.
See, I don't recall, I can't recite what the positions were, but
Yeah, right, as far as the positions go, right now, these are just posted. Some of them are anticipated openings. We know that Jennifer Nolick will be moving from English back to her curriculum directing position. We know Jessica Hornacher will be moving from elementary teacher back to her director of academics for the elementary. We also had previously discussed that we do have one of our teachers that will be pursuing a new career field in advance. For the secondary math, we do not currently have an opening But we do have some people that might be making a move next year for their family. So,
okay.
because it is such a high-need area, we wanted to make sure that we have posted and
Right.
are open to that.
Can't have too many math and science teachers, can you, in tows?
Right. The Director of Academics, really the Federal Grants Compliance Coordinator position, we are receiving applicants for that, and we'll be starting to schedule this week to go through the interview process.
It's always good to have applicants. When you have no one applying, that's not good, is it? So,
Yes, I believe we are up to 8 applicants.
okay.
So 2 internal, 6 external.
very good.
So the chair will entertain a motion.
I will be glad to make, since I already asked a question, I'll be glad to. I think I was supposed to make the motion first and then the question. I will make a motion that we accept Jill's April CEO report as presented to us.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Dave, this is where you jump in.
Oh, okay.
Already in it, yeah.
After 12 years, you think I would start getting the hang of this, but I don't know. I'm still struggling with it, I guess.
You're
Sorry.
great. We appreciate you.
So I see we have an ASI.
We do.
Any bites on the SASE at all?
We have not had any applicants yet.
Joe, have we, I know you said we put out for the ASI, but for the SASE, have we published on USA Jobs?
They all have to be published through the military. The military does we can't do any of that ourselves. So Maxwell handles all that, and then they screen the candidates and let us know which ones we are allowed to interview, and so it's a comprehensive. It's on the USA. There we go. So.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just work here, sir.
A note that the official fall and spring counts remained exactly the same and a little higher than what we had budgeted. So,
It's not really exactly.
It is. No.
I know, but it's gone up and down, up and down.
It does this every year, ma'am.
any further discussion? Okay,
What can I add to the discussion?
you may.
I can. We got our units, our rooftop units are here. Woohoo! So, sorry. Very thrilled. They got done at noon on Saturday, getting them up, and everything went well. Nothing came crashing through the ceiling and no injuries. So, calling it a win, and we actually believe that it will be operational in about 2 weeks. And so as the weather starts to warm up and we have award ceremonies and all that, we might have AC in our gym. So, very excited.
Very good.
This was very exciting with the new grant that we just got.
Yes.
That is very exciting. So the items that you have here, is that we're going to try and use that for?
That's what we're going after right now. I had to submit the CFIG budget on Friday because it was such a significant increase from what we had originally requested. We had to go do a lot of bids, and they went ahead and let me do it as TBD for vendors. And so we are quickly going through that process because CFIG actually does have to be encumbered by January 31st, 23. So we can go back to January 1st, 2022 to cover some of our expenses, which will be discussed with that computer proposal. But that has been a little fun, little shift there. So,
We like those.
yeah, I love it, loving it right now.
Are all the events listed on the back of your report going as planned? Any issues, anything with those?
So far, everything has gone as planned. The weather did decide to mess with us a little bit yesterday with O-flights. God love our CAP guys, Mike Austin and Mike Dean and Josh Fathauer have been incredible with this. And we got 63 cadets up in the sky today, so we were pumped. This has been great for them, and I think we're going to be able to get the rest of them in. We had a little issue with the ceiling, was a little lower than it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
we're trying to push it up, but it just
Yeah.
didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, field trips, everything have gone well so far, and we're rocking and rolling. It's a very busy, busy season for us.
Thank you.
Any further discussion or comments? Okay, to approve the budget with the sign of aye? Did we do this already? No.
Or the
CEO
No.
report.
Excuse me, I
CEO
said
report.
budget.
Look, you're just jumping through
Pardon
some.
me,
Okay, wow.
I wanted to jump into this next budget
Well, I got
so-
everything out of whack
so
earlier.
expeditiously. So, to approve the CEO report, the April CEO report, my humble apology, with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Now, the financial report.
Okay, let's see. Our latest year-end projection, we call it cash net income, is down slightly from our last board meeting. We're still above break even, which of course is something that we really try very, very hard to always achieve. And that amount is $37,747 to be exact. If that is the number that holds, that would leave us with an ending cash balance as of June 30th of $1,711,475, which certainly puts us in a very strong cash position. Looking at the reasons for the slight decline, our latest projected total income was up $123,389. However, our total expenses were up $152,950. So the arithmetic is fairly straightforward there. Taking a look at total income, grant income was up about $110,000. I'll go ahead and try to round my figures in the discussion. You all have my pre-meeting report if you need the exact dollars and cents on some of these numbers. But however, even though grant income we're expecting to be up for the year, the state tuition was down $139,259. And Andrea, turning to you here in lieu of Beth this evening, your note was that this was an adjustment for the second ADM count. I guess I was a little surprised that the downward adjustment, we only lost 2 people in the second ADM count in February from our first ADM count. I don't know, I thought it would not be that much, but is there anything else that we need to know about that drop or adjustment?
Say,
Let me see, I am pulling up your 54 report.
Okay.
Let's find it.
I can speak to that.
Oh, good.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
Some of
Thanks,
this,
Jill.
you're welcome. Some of this we are looking at because for the second count, they said that we had 146 students that qualified as virtual during that period, but that was not our enrollment number. So
Okay,
we
so
are
that's
looking
not
into
settled
it.
yet then,
No,
sort of.
sort of.
So the
I wouldn't
vir-
count on them saying, "Oh, we made a mistake," but
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
So our virtual number is 122, right?
correct. And it
Compared to what they're saying is 146.
146. And so one of the problems that we have all had collectively throughout the state this year is they went to this program called Data Exchange. Now, Data Exchange uses EdFi, which means it communicates directly with our Skyward. It pulls our attendance data, and it has been kindly worded a hot mess. There have
yes.
been other terminologies floating around on our DOE listservs, and nobody can make heads or tails of it. And so some of our students that were virtual or classified as virtual because they were quarantined were counting into that count, but it's supposed to be if they were 50% of their days were that way. So it's
It's a mess.
it's a mess. It takes hours upon hours, getting into a week's worth of work to recode everything, and then as soon as you recode it the way that they just told you to do it, it changes again.
Well, yeah, really, their numbers are worse than originally. I think we were calling it like 91 or 92, and they said 114, and now they're up to 146.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's
Well,
a thing for us to sort through and keep working with them to make sure coding is correct. But like I said, all schools are experiencing this right now, and it's impacting a million different functions the DOE didn't anticipate. We also have, the way that we access Indiana IEP is through this data exchange, or that data is pulled. It keeps pulling information out of Skyward about our staff members and then removing their permissions to be able to see IEPs. And so I keep having to go back in almost daily at this point and manually re-entering staff members so they can access the system they need to. So,
So that 146 are funded at 85%.
correct.
Which will probably reflect part of the
Yeah,
the
that would
variance.
be most of that variance.
And that variance, even if we come into the middle of what we think our 122 is and their 146, will be a benefit to us. Good answer. I
yes.
love how our accounting people just virtually, our accounting people are here with us virtually, so in case you didn't know.
Well, that state tuition line is a little hard to forecast over the course of a whole year because of the complexity of the formula, et cetera, but a little variation there is probably not going to sink the ship, let's say, so. Okay, let's see, that pretty much is the total income side of it here for projected year end. Going to the expense side of it, let's see, Andrea may have another question here. I noticed that instructional expense for the year is up $136,682 from what we had projected at our last board meeting. And somebody will say, well, it's probably substitute. Well, no, substitute I think is only up maybe $6,000, so that's not all of it. However, I happen to notice that we have another payroll correction entry, and that was $134 some thousand dollars. Let's see, an April payroll, in other words, it was earned for April but cleared the bank in March. Is that what could be causing that increase in our year-end projections, do you think? Or is it something
Yes, I
else?
think that definitely contributes to it. Since your pay date was 4/1, the money comes out of the bank before that so that your employees are paid, so we.
And we're on a
everyone's gonna
cash
have that little
basis, so yeah, it
crossover.
shows up then, okay.
You also
So
have
it'll
your
adjust
COVID
out in
bonuses.
April.
Right, That happened once before, if everybody recalls, I think between September and October. And so, yeah, it is reflected, since we're on a cash basis here on our budget. Yeah, it's in this month and shouldn't be there. Okay, well, that pretty much dispatches that. Really not a lot of change here in our projected year end. Now we'll go to the month of March, and actually you probably can explain the results for March in one word: E-rate. As you recall, our budget, our forecast is showing a big $230-some thousand receipt or payment in the month of June, which we've all been kind of wondering about, is it going to happen? Actually, we got $188,000 in March. So that certainly put total income up over what was budgeted for the month, about $72,000. And otherwise, looking at March's income, grants were slightly below budget, which is not unusual. And the food service reimbursements, that's still down because we had two audits, as you all recall from prior meetings. And during that audit period, I think reimbursements were sort of halted or slowed down. So we're not quite back on a normal track there, but we do remember that all food service revenue and purchases, they're all reimbursable. But I think, Andrea, as I'm learning, I think we batch 2 months together and then file for reimbursement, so it has kind of a longer reimbursement timeline than maybe some other things. For the month of March, actually, total expense was $48,000 below budget. So, again, the E-rate really came through for us big here in the month of March. Now, looking ahead, I guess, yeah, let me also mention here one more thing about March. As we have several newer board members, and I think as we're all learning, if you look at our numbers on a cyclical basis, usually if you have a lot of grant income and reimbursements coming in, you usually have a very positive bottom line, which means it adds to our cash balance. And in about half of our months, we don't have the big influx of grants or reimbursements, and we usually run a loss. So a loss on the bottom line on a monthly basis is not disturbing in and of itself. March originally was projected to have a $208,000 loss, but thanks to the E-rate payment, we cut that down to $88,000, which is good. Now, looking ahead briefly here to April, May, and June. April and May, if our budget, our projections for the rest of the year are on track, we're looking at very strong bottom line months. I don't have the numbers right in front of me. I think maybe to the tune of $300,000 to $400,000 for both months. You got them there?
April is a loss of $467,000. May is a gain of $410,000.
Yep.
And June is a gain of $547,000.
Yeah.
So it's a net $956 gain, and you take the loss in April of $466.
That's right. Yeah, I had forgotten that. Yeah, April was
So
the
it's about a
lean month.
$490,000 gain
Okay.
in bottom line.
So May and June are looking good, which will help recover from March and April. The last point then I have here on our current financials, knowing that we have received $188,000 plus, I know that we've got, I think, 2 payments on E-rate prior to that. That potentially could reduce the forecast for May and June. I don't know, Andrew, if it will, but the thought crossed my mind because we were counting in our budget on June as receiving over $200,000. So since we've already got most of it, we may not have as strong of months as
That
we
line
are
was
expecting.
adjusted to reflect that.
Oh,
So
okay,
we-
very good.
Yeah.
That is all I have. And if anyone always has any other questions, or I don't try to cover every topic, but please feel free to jump right in.
So I think if you look at the overall after it shakes out, the approved budget was to have an ending cash balance of $1,724,918. With all the adjustments and the projections that we have going forward, it's going to come in at $1,711,475. So we will miss our cash flow forecast with projections by about $13,000, which
Not bad.
is still a pretty healthy
Yes.
cash flow for the year. So a couple of the high points are, I mean, we're doing dramatically better than we have in the last few years. I mean, we're looking at still having our total expenses, even though they're forecast to be up $427,000 more than what our budget was, we're offsetting that dramatically. So again, to only have a $13,000 loss, that $487,000 is being offset by $474,000 in revenue. So that's a positive sign. And there are, again, it's some of it is where these grants fall when we get the ESSERs and the payments on some of these, but you look at that bottom line, we're right on where we said we would be at the end of the year for cash flow. Any further discussion? I just went right to the bottom line instead of going into all the details. Trying to beat that last board meeting of 1 hour when I wasn't here.
Listen, she runs her meetings with an iron fist, I'll tell you. No one delayed her.
Good job,
No,
boy.
she did a great job.
Okay. Any further discussion on the financials for March? We sprinkled in a little year-end stuff in there. Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the approval with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Financials are approved.
Did we have a motion on the financial?
Did we not have a motion?
No.
We did.
So we can't have the vote yet without a
Well,
motion.
I can't make the motion, so.
But it's not.
It's not binding.
I'll make a,
Motion that we approve our financials.
I'll second it.
We now have a motion and a second.
Okay.
Now you know I am outgoing board president. I've done this too long.
I'm sure we're really impressing our student audience here. Our other regular visitors are used to us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. I will now call for the vote. All for approval with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Actually, it was a test of our board members who are continuing on with us to make sure you're paying attention.
Ah,
Excellent job passing, everyone.
Thanks. Okay. All right, we'll move on to old business. We have the second reading of our proposed budget for the upcoming school year, the 2022-2023 budget. And we have the same report as the last meeting. They're still working through a number of issues. There's a few things that were added and a few revenue opportunities that have come in. But I'll just basically give a quick summary. If you look at the forecast numbers, the revenues are budgeted to be down $1.7 million from this year, but the expenses are also budgeted to be down $1.7 million from this year, which is a good sign, even though the increases are different percentage-wise. It's still a good sign to have your gain and your loss, or your revenue and your expense to pretty much mirror each other. So, you want to go ahead and present, or have any comments about our
Hey, Mike,
upcoming?
if I can speak real quick, is there a document somewhere? I don't see that list. The
The
new,
what?
The budget.
yeah, I don't
For the new budget?
have that in my pack here.
Oh, it's on board.
Let me look at it. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, so you
It
have
would
to-
have been what you got last time.
Would have been the same
Yeah.
one.
Sorry, it has not changed.
Yeah, everybody got a hard
No worries.
copy.
Making sure we weren't missing.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was
sorry,
You're good?
I did attach it to this meeting's and boardable, Ryan.
I seen
Okay.
it in Boardable, but.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
so
tracking.
we've not updated anything yet. Based on ADM is 775 for the whole year. And we're coming out with a net income of $49,000. Hopefully that will stay pretty close to that. Once we do some additional adjustments, that will come through hopefully for the May meeting.
So we did have our finance meeting with our bookkeepers. Go ahead, you had a question,
I
Angie?
have a question. So can I ask why we have in our budget that we'll pay unemployment compensation? Because we are a school and schools are reimbursable, which means that we do not have to pay unemployment insurance unless somebody comes in that we have to pay
So-
it on.
Oh,
So we did take that into consideration when we had
Yeah.
our finance committee meeting in the last meeting, and if you don't mind, I'll speak to that.
Go ahead.
The number is such a low number that we pay, right around $1,000. It's good to have it out there because our liability could actually be more in case there is a filing against us, and it's just kind of an insurance policy to spend that lower amount to offset any potential losses going forward. Now, $1,000, I think, what's the exact number? I don't remember exactly. Do you?
Don't remember.
It's
off the
just
top of my
slightly
head.
over $1,000, I believe.
I thought it was
For-
under slightly.
Was it just under? I know it was right at that $1,000 threshold.
We did take it to committee.
yeah, as I recall,
Yeah.
in our discussion on that, we don't pay federal unemployment,
Right,
so this is just state.
correct.
It seems to me like it's about $300 a person for the year is the,
Yes,
I
that
think,
is
what's in the
correct.
budget. So it's a very low amount.
So, thank you for bringing that to our attention. We did entertain that. I hope that answers your question, and if you're the expert in a lot of that, but, I mean, there is a liability in case we do have a filing, but
Let's see,
But
one,
however, the only time there would be a filing would be if we terminate someone without just cause.
In our experience, even if we terminate with just cause, they have denied our appeals. Even though we are an at-will employer and do not need really anything based off of our contractual language, we follow everything to the letter of the law and everything contractually. But most of the time, we submit an appeal and they just do it anyway. So it's very rare that we have that type of experience because typically we do not go through that process, but that's just been our personal experience.
I just wanted to ask.
that's a great question, and it's great to bring it up, and we did discuss it with our accounting folks, and we would be the exception rather than the rule of other folks that they deal with across the state. You know, not saying that we have to do what everybody else does, but it's just kind of an insurance policy against having to, you know. Good comments. That's the kind of information we need.
I will say that I think all of us that met this last week, and Jill had stated this earlier, but I agree, this is probably the most accurate first draft, because normally we would have gotten a second handout and then a third handout to vote on. We have to vote on the budget per Ball State requirements in May. So I think this was very excellent. We really could find very little even question because everything was pretty well thought through. One minor point is one question we did have was on next year's property casualty and liability insurance. We were calling that 116, and I think at the time of our meeting, the budget figure or the projected for this year is $140-some thousand. I know it's down a little bit to about 137. Is there anything new on that? I know that was the only thing we found that everybody was going to look into.
I have not had the time to fully look through that. I think it is possible that may change a little, but I haven't
Okay, well,
had
we'll.
time to get the paperwork pulled to
Sure.
verify it.
We'll sort it out. That, again,
Yes.
shows just how well I think everything had been worked through even prior to us sitting down and looking at it.
Yeah, and as an explanation for why we have not done the updated version yet, as you saw in the CEO report and we've previously discussed, the last 2 weeks have seen an influx of funding opportunities and so we want to make sure, because we are currently living in 2 budget cycles, and some of that funding I've got to figure out and we've got to figure out the timing of those projects. Will it go into 21-22, or will they hit July 1 and go that way? So we're in this weird wobble phase right now, and we just felt that this would be the smooth way to go, then go back through and send those out with committee and all that.
And one of the points that I'll point out, just to show that we're doing the due diligence, total instructional expense compared to what we're projecting for this year is actually down compared to what we're actually forecasting for the year by almost $400,000, which is over or almost 10%. So, so we are really looking at the programming, looking at the expenses, and the instructional expense being the largest expense that we have. There's some great savings on that. So I encourage you to go to Boardable and pull down the reports. We'll alert you when the second revision. Do you have a forecast date when that second revision will be out?
I'm not sure. I know Beth is going to start trying to look at go through some review stuff within the next week or so. Obviously, no work this week.
Yep.
Minimal work next week, so I'm thinking it's probably going to be at least the second week of May.
Okay.
So
She
that
had
can help
knee
check
replacement
that.
surgery, so.
Yeah, yesterday, I guess, so, yeah, she's,
Yes.
tell her don't try to
Yesterday,
come back too soon. I know she'll be trying, but,
Yeah, I'm sure she'll do some work from home. Hopefully not too much.
well, she can sit, but as long as she doesn't try to bend that knee, she'll be okay, I think.
So the final reading will be at our May 31st meeting. So again, I encourage you to get out to watch Boardable, and we'll alert you to the fact that the budget is out there and it's the final version of that budget so that everybody can take a look at it.
Congratulations on, one thing I like about the new budget is we have a clear identification of our substitution cost or change. That's always been a little nebulous. Wasn't a big issue, of course, until COVID hit, but, well, no, actually, it's always been a bit of a struggle to figure that one out. Jill has, let's see here, I think I jotted that. Yeah, next year we are projecting or budgeting about $66,000 for substitutes. And this year you have identified, I think 51,000 of that was building subs. Most of that was in the elementary where we do have, is it Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Yeah, we do have one building sub, and then we don't have any for the high school or middle school yet. And then what was called professional, it's under instructional expense, but it's professional dash substitute. I think we're calling that about 15,000. That is our Kelly services people. So I'm glad to see that, and I think one thing that I think the closest we could come to identifying what the cost was this year was about 53,000, I think. But again, that has always been ill-defined. So we did agree to raise substitute the pay through the end of June, and I think we were in consensus at our meeting that we wanted to probably hold that rate through next year. So again, I think I don't know if any action is needed on that, but we thought that that was a good idea to probably do if you want to get the good people.
Once the rate's set, unless we want to change it, we don't need to take any action.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Questions, comments? Okay, we don't need to have a vote on the reading. Okay, new business. APA Spotlight.
Bye, Andrea.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Andrea.
Andrea.
Take care.
Hey, give our best regards to Beth. Tell her we're thinking
Thank
of
you.
her.
Will do.
Oh, that helps.
Well, good evening. So thank you. Mike, I don't think we're gonna keep it under the hour this month, so that's all right. So we're gonna make sure that we blame Mike for that, not me. But no, I appreciate everybody giving me the opportunity here today. Wanted to give everybody an update of what's been going on here at 29th Street over the course of the second semester here. So one of the things that we've appreciated as we began our transition out of COVID protocols and that push back to normal, we have really been trying to focus on some experiential learning and engaging our community partners and providing our cadets some opportunities. So to make this real quick, this was kind of a 6-step process of what we've gone through, where we've been trying to build connections. So my office and through our community outreach efforts, we've been trying to engage with community partners to try to find opportunities for our students to be able to apply some of the strategies and some of those key character traits that they've been learning in the classroom and try to take them out and put them into practice. So through that, what we have done over the course of the last 2 years in introducing transferable skills, we're trying to continue to analyze current trends, workforce development, workforce needs, etc. So one of the ways that we have done that is, as I said, trying to give our students access to our community partners. So over the course of the last 5 months, this is just a small portion of the community partners that we have either had in our building or representative of in our building that has continued to drive some of the opportunities our students have had. So we have started this program with the idea of just allowing our students to build connections and be able to ask questions to our professionals, our industry-specific professionals. So the role of our community partners, what we have done, so we have implemented a Lunch and Learn program that has been very successful. We have really enjoyed that opportunity. So we were operating on 2 a month. This was for the cadets grades 9 through 12. Those lunch and learning activities took about an hour. So we would have a 35-minute discussion with industry professionals. We would have a brief reflection time with the students, feed them lunch, and we would do that all within a 60-minute window. After we completed that, we would get instant feedback from the cadets, and we started to build off of that process. And as we implement it going into the fall, we have some changes that will be made, but all of that is being done, relatively quickly. Field trips, campus tours, much with our Prep CC class that was approved to be moved from a semester long to a year long. We are looking to make sure that all of our cadets in grades 9 and 10, they have had at least visited a 2-year campus, a 4-year campus, and an apprenticeship type program. So we have been able to make our way to a few field trips, some of those including some hands-on experiences. If you have not had the opportunity to check out our Facebook page, I would encourage you to do so. We had a wonderful trip up to the Indiana Union of Operators and Engineers up in Chesterfield, where our students were actually able to get hands-on experience using cranes and backhoes and different types of large equipment. The last one that is on the list there is internships, and that is something that we are projecting to try to grow into the future. So that internship opportunity has been wonderful for us. So a few of the things that we have that's coming up that our cadets here in the future will have the opportunity to participate in. Friday, May 13th, that is going to be our annual day of service. So every cadet in grades 6 through 12 will be participating in some active community service. We have connected with some of our community partners. Anderson First Church of the Nazarene is really being supportive with that. And Anderson Parks Department, a couple of the nursing homes, and a lot of the food pantries around will be seeing our cadets volunteering on that day. So it's going to be a great opportunity for us there. May 21st, Redefining Leadership. That is Redefining Leadership. We will be participating in see those cadets graduate there. June 1st, so we have connected with Interstate Warehousing, which is a part of the Tittman Group. So we do have cadets, APA was selected out of all schools in Madison County to identify 2 junior or senior age students that would be participating in a month-long internship there that'll pay them about $20 per hour, so right about $2,000 to be able to participate. Plus, at the end, if they have an attendance incentive, there's a $1,200 bonus for them completing the program. So that is an introduction into their career development program, and that kicks off for us June 1st. Internally, we will be hosting again a Summer Leadership Academy. That is held for our elected class officers, and that's done internally with some support of our local community sponsors. TeamWorks. TeamWorks is a new program that has made their way into Madison County. TeamWorks has been working with us, and they came in and made a presentation and have been recruiting our cadets to participate in that program. As of today, we have 15 applicants to participate in the TeamWorks program. We're hoping to be able to get that up to 25, but as of right now, 15, with the date being March 14th for them conducting their in-person interviews here in the building. So really excited about that. We've had many companies and local businesses reach out to us trying to recruit our cadets for employment. We obviously know where the employment shortage is, but you can go and see many of our cadets working at Walmart, Meijer, Jim's Root Beer stand, and a lot of the local eateries. So if you get an opportunity to go to those places, they would really appreciate it. Looking towards the fall and winter, one of the opportunities that we have taking place in September, the Lift Academy in Indianapolis with Republican Airways, they are going to be promoting a Lift Academy Exploratory Day. So that'll be on Saturday, September 10th. Our goal is to take about 30 to 35 cadets plus their families up to the program. So we are hoping that is the intended plan that I've received. Plus, we will continue our relationship with IUPUI and IRT. So taking a look at some of the things that we have, and I just want to make everybody aware of some of the barriers that we are experiencing with this type of program. So the experiential program is a large time commitment. So some of the things that we are seeing is the experience schedule. So trying to find a way to manipulate a schedule, and we have kids that need the time in the classroom, but we want to also give them the opportunity out and apply what they've learned. So there is a difficulty balancing that, trying to pull them in away from the classroom with how to manage that. Institutional costs, right now, one of the things, the biggest cost for us, obviously, is just to sustain the program, lunch and learns, is the cost of food. I have paid to feed the students, paying for the meals of the speakers coming in. It has been pretty minimal. We've been able to get a partnership with some of our local food service providers and take care of us that way, but just a cost there. The other part that we struggle with is individual costs. So for some of our students to be able to participate in internships off campus, there is a cost for the family. That's transportation costs, there's possibility of food costs, there's the cost of uniforms or maybe some specific gear that needs to be worn during the internship. But those are things that we are continuing to build our partnerships and trying to find ways to break those barriers down. And the last thing is the engagement. What we are trying to work to break down. Every aspect that we took this year as far as providing experiences, we are trying to be very intentional. Intentional in who we invited and who we presented it to. But we still had some students that were very, I would not say they were very skeptical about it at first, very nervous about participating because they hadn't been invited to participate before, whether it been grade barriers or behavior barriers or whatever it may be. we are trying to push past those nerves, anxiety of being able to put themselves out into a environment that is trying. So in regards to the employability skills, these are the two programs that you're going to see and hear us focus on. We've talked about School Connect before. Leader in Me, we are beginning the Leader in Me process this summer, and that will be going into our grades 6 through 8 beginning in August. So we are excited to bring Leader in Me back on board. So our character education, looking at what we are trying to build through this program, leadership and accountability, adaptability, problem solving, teamwork, communication, etc. Analyzing workforce needs, I want to make sure everybody is aware of how we have gone about this. First, we are looking at classroom instruction. So this is where our military science really comes in, as we are learning the skills of organization, personal care, grooming, but we are also looking and analyzing through our Preparing College and Careers course. So they take a look at the 7 career clusters, they research, and that career cluster research takes place in 9th and 10th grade. At the end of first semester this year, we did collect a self-assessment survey, career inventory survey, and so we designed our field experiences this year based off of student interests that was presented at the end of first semester. So as we go through here, applied skills. So here's just a few pictures of some of the places that we were able to attend. So again, we did take students to Interstate Warehousing. They are a cold storage warehouse for Nestle, just up off of 69. It was a great experience. D26, our educational partner, Ball State, and we did have a group of students visit Element 212 to learn about marketing careers. So our Lunch and Learn programs, this included local real estate agents, law enforcement agents. We had digital design. One was a videographer and video marketing specific individual, and medical careers. They did join us as well. So we did have one event that I wanted to highlight today. So we did have a cultural event. I had presented the Commandant with this. It was a wonderful opportunity for us to take a group of cadets. We took 22 students and 3 of us faculty members to a play at IRT. That was a play that was going around the idea of the reclamation of Madison Hemmings, which was a world premiere play there that was discussing the end of the Civil War and some of the conflicts that were going on internally, of how people identify, et cetera, et cetera. But along with us having that cultural experience in a play, in a theater, the Commandant allowed us, we did take a meal out to Buca de Beppo. So it was a dining experience as well. Very proud of the cadets and what they were able to experience. They represented themselves, their institution, and their families in a great way. And it was just a great show of leadership whenever they returned. And the level of conversation that it opened was very, very fruitful. And it's something that we're hoping to be able to continue with moving forward. Now, I wanted to provide some context with this. I want to invite a young lady up here with me, and I know she's nervous, and I want to give her the opportunity to talk a little bit about her experience. This just happened randomly towards the end of first semester. Caitlin Galvin, come on up, Caitlin. So some of you may have seen this billboard up that has Ms. Calfee on the billboard for us. This past fall, Caitlin has really illustrated a wish and desire to go into aviation and become a pilot. So she was our only high school cadet that was signed up for our aviation program. And with that, it was becoming very difficult to maintain our certification with AOPA and that aviation program. So we were trying to find an opportunity. And Caitlin was presented the opportunity, and we started the discussion, I believe, in end of November, 1st of December, and she has been working this semester as an intern at the municipal airport here in Anderson. So I wanted to give her the opportunity to present to you all what she has learned. If you have a couple questions, she's nervous, but we're up here to support her. So Caitlin, could you tell me a little bit about what you've been able to do at the airport?
Yeah, so when I first started, they asked me like a couple of things I wanted to learn, and I was like, well, I'm really interested into like airport management and becoming like a pilot. So just because of the weather and everything, just because it's cold, we've been focusing a lot on like the airport management side. So I had to take a certification for fueling, so I am certified to fuel airplanes. Kind of just going through things, all of the hangar rentals, the like expenses the airport has to do, just a lot of that stuff. The hangar rentals, I didn't like think about that with, I wasn't like in the program with them. The one that kind of stood out to me the most, just because we're in this setting over here, is the board, the BOAC, which is Board of Aviation Commissions, and that is like a big thing. Everything has to go through there to even get approved before you do something. So like, hey, I want to put this, take out this wall. Oh wait, you gotta push it through there before. It's a big like deal. And then this, here soon I'll be studying that.
And then today, where we at today?
Oh, yeah, and I got to go up into the tower today. So I got some tower experience in our civil air patrol because they were going up and down, and got some videos and stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. And I just want to put a plug in for Brian out at the airport. They have been wonderful to work with, and Caitlin has done wonderful out there. Just in regards to them designing the program, they took her feedback and what she wanted out of the program and really helped design that. What she's talked about being able to see the way the municipalities work, that is a life lesson that she'll be able to take forward and learn a lot from that. So we're hoping to continue to build that relationship and try to find a way to support Caitlin's for next year as she is her senior year. So thank you, Caitlin, for doing that for us. Last thing we have here, just as far as the initial impact of what we are seeing of this program. So we are seeing increased student engagement. And what I mean by that is, in order to be a part of some of these programs, you have to be here and be in the building to know what programs are taking place. So we are seeing increased engagement, increased attendance, and we are seeing some of these extrinsic motivators changing some behaviors in a very positive way. We are also seeing that as we continue to put these events and these experiences out onto our social media and our social media platforms, the amount of interest that we are getting in the types of students that we are attracting, the types of families we're attracting, is going to be a very positive thing. So really looking forward to how this program grows. In our process as we move forward, we are going to continue to seek feedback, survey, ask for feedback from parents, teachers, community members, etc., as far as what we would like to provide. So with that, are there any questions?
Caitlin, correct?
Yes.
With her doing this internship, you said there was concern of us maybe losing because she was the only person enrolled in that class this semester?
Right.
Does that remove us from that danger?
So no. So AOPA has a specific amount of students that we needed to maintain in the program. So it's for us to have 4 years of AOPA curriculum, we'd have to have 40 students enrolled. But what this has done is it's opened up the avenue. We are in conversation with Brian out at the airport, where we are in line to receive. We are trying to find a way through our CAP program. I'm not afraid to say this because Brian has been very open about it. So we currently have access to 2 flight simulators, possibly a third, they are new in the box, have never been used. One of them is a $750,000 machine. The other one is roughly $500,000 machine, brand new. What we are waiting on is that to be released. They were NASA used or built by NASA. So the only thing that we're going to have to do is try to find a way to transport them. So we are trying to work through Congresswoman Sparks' office and a few other municipalities to try to get those things moved to Anderson's airport, and the hope for us to be able to use, because we do have 2 certified pilot instructors that are talking about the idea of creating a licensure program. That would be, we're trying to model that over after IWU, Indiana Wesleyan, and Marion's program that they have.
I heard the excitement, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that are building with it, especially with the LIFT program and some of the, the different levels of pilot licenses. We gain knowledge of how we can grow it. The community partners and the willingness is there. So, any other questions?
To go off of that, what is the level of engagement with Lift Academy and Republic Airways?
What was that?
What is the level of engagement? How far is the conversation with Lift Academy and Republic?
All right, so in regards to the conversation, that has started with our CAP program. So they have reached out. There was supposed to be an event this coming Saturday, which is April 30th. So that event has been postponed because there was a miscommunication, because the initial email came out, thought that they were looking for individuals 17 and over. Well, Saturday, we could not invite our high school cadets out because that is our prom. So our prom kind of, sucked the interest away from that program. The email that I received earlier today was stating that they have pinpointed September 10th as the next tentative date. So what that is going to be, I cannot remember the individual's name. I can send it to you. But it's just an introduction to the program, and it's going to be for anybody age 12 and over. So they're looking for CAP age cadets. Anybody age 12 and over is going to be able to go participate, see the building, see the aircraft, see the program, and just foster excitement into aviation careers.
So with the airport, you talked about doing all these things and getting involved and stuff. What is the sustainability with aviation, with the program here at APA and what you're looking at here locally? Being as someone in aviation has been in the business for over 25 years, I know sometimes it gets very challenging at certain timelines.
Right.
So what's the sustainability that you guys are looking at with a program like that?
Right. So as far as the sustainability, I am not sure as far as the length of time that the airport is going to be able to hang on to the simulators. So there is a belief that, I believe it is 2 years, and then 1 year, and then they will have to make a decision on where they go to next. Brian mentioned today that there will be the possibility of being able to transfer that ownership over to APA specifically. But in regards to the continued growth and focus on the aviation careers, with what we are doing currently with our CAP program. So this Friday we are beginning CAP. Will be making their way over to elementary, the elementary program at 22nd Street to do a rocketry day. So we are going to continue to push forward a lot of those aviation principles with our STEAM programs, makerspace, etc. So in regards, I believe as long as Brian's out there, I believe that we'll be able to foster that relationship.
So I like to give credit where credit's due, especially in the past where some students have been here who tried to start the aviation program and kind of move forward from there. And currently where it's at now, from that, how many other students potentially can get into this program going forward? I know in the past there has been some students that have had this interest, unfortunately wasn't given the opportunity as some folks are now. So how is it to assure that everyone else in the school has that same opportunity of where some of this, such as going to the airport, having an internship, co-opships, I mean, we can go forward from there.
Right. So Brian out there at the airport, he would be able to take on 3 to 4 interns per year is what we're looking at. So as I said, we will continue to gain interest, engage interest in the programs as far as the needs through our workforce, partnerships as we look at what type of workforce demands are out there. And specific to aviation, I think what was very difficult for us, especially as we had the transition take place with AOPA, was just the narrow scope of it. I know that once you get to year 3 and 4, the scope kind of broadened a little bit. So what we were trying to provide with this internship is a very broad introduction to the career field. So that is where we're looking at airport management. I mean, we're looking at big picture type of things. Very much so, for instance, with the real estate discussion that we had during the lunch and learns, many people see, they say that they want to be an architect. Well, you can't be an architect if you don't enjoy math, if you don't enjoy those types of programs. But if you enjoy looking at homes, there's interior decorating, there is staging, there is, all of the different things that come along with real estate to be involved in the process. So we're trying to give a broad view of what the career clusters are. So therefore, I think once we broaden it, then our sustainability continues to increase.
And you said the AOPA program is still currently going on right now?
What's that?
The AOPA program is still currently going on, or you guys phased away from that?
It is not. Caitlin was the only student that we had that
Okay.
had shown any interest in it, so we had.
After Sergeant Myers moved, we did have Lieutenant Dean step up into that role and get certified, but they won't allow us to continue that curriculum if you don't have 10 kids per level. So that's back to the drawing board, rebuilding, all that.
Okay. Sorry, I got a couple more questions. Sorry, Mike. Teamworks, what's your level of engagement with Teamworks? Like, I know they came into school and from there. So what type of jobs you guys are looking for here in the local community and stuff for them?
Yes, so this is going to be Teamworks' first step into Madison County. So it is going to start relatively small. And there is going to be one specific job that they were looking at, and they were looking at partnering. I believe that was with Habitat for Humanity. Was going to be that first step this year before they expanded. So Madison County is the second county. Obviously Marion County was the founder largest. So that's pretty robust program down there. Muncie is continuing to grow, and now here we are in Anderson. So I believe that program throughout the county, they're trying to attract about 40 to 45 kids.
Thanks, CJ.
Yep. Anything else?
No question, just a comment. We're in your backyard and we'd love to be a partner, and there's pathways we built with Outlet for internships, and if you take them out to do some CNC machining. So I'd like to see our name on there.
That would be
So.
great. That would be great. Any other questions?
Good job. We're working on
Great job.
Thank you very much.
creating opportunities for a lot of our students who don't have those opportunities at other schools. CJ, thank you for a great presentation, and you took my hour up, so. Okay. The Jet Fuel Box Program. Do you need lights or?
No, we got a PowerPoint.
All right,
Oh,
great.
okay.
I would say a few words while you take.
Will you be introducing yourselves?
Yes, they're going to be introducing yourselves, and I just want to say I'm super proud of these kids. They developed this presentation this week. They're the ones who are sitting in and creating what we're doing. They have interesting ideas for our summer program. So this is all of them. I'm just overseeing.
Well, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Matthew.
Not everybody will know you, so.
My name is Matthew Walsh. I am the social worker here in ABA. I also teach us hydroponics class, which I absolutely love. And yeah, I was helping Gary with the talk program, and I've kind of helped her step up to a plate. And these kids decided they wanted to go, they didn't really fit into the sports genre. They don't have really an active theater program. So they started coming and helping with the fuel box, and they absolutely love it. Now we're up to usually between 13 and 20 people, 20 students showing up at any given time. We do have a high school lead who is not here, and is Lydia. They will speak on that. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my kids.
Thank you, Matthew.
Hi, tonight we're going to be discussing the Hi, my name is Molly Kimberly. I'm 13 and I'm in the 7th grade. And I'm the captain of the Jet Fuel Box Building Program. I enjoy what we do after school because I feel like we've created a very nice community, and I feel that if we have the right support and we can reach many more families in need, that could possibly meet our needs.
Hi, my name is Brian Bonarama. I am 13. I am in the 7th grade, and I'm also the co-founder of the Jet Fuel Box Building After School Club. I enjoy the box building program because of the community that we have built here. Everyone has each other's back in this program.
We have 4 leaders. Lydia Valle, which couldn't be here. She's our high school representative. And then we have me, captain, and then Brian as co-captain. And then we have Terry Walker, which is our community garden leader. So, and we have Tommy Kimmerling and Sophia Carson, which is our social media runners, I guess. So basically what we're going to show you in this presentation is what we do, where we want to go, and what we need to succeed. The Jet Fuel Box Building Program is an after-school activity to receive community service hours by building and distributing boxes for food for families in need. The after-school program is student-led. The dad is a Maddie. And this program is also an opportunity for students to work on their social and teamwork skills. Also, they get to learn about some of their core values, such as service and learning.
We are an aim at assisting the potential 51% of students in need of some sort of food access or food assistance. Summer camp base in the community garden setting to provide options for children and fresh produce for families.
I believe we've created a very supportive and accepting community. We all have each other's backs. I wouldn't say that we don't judge. Everyone is welcome, no matter what you identify as, what's your ethnicity, or what your culture is. We accept you no matter what. We accept the weird and expect kindness. Some students come to this program to just get away from the house a little bit, just to have time communicating with other people outside of school. And to us, it's more than getting community service hours. I find it more as a family. I feel it's not just me. I believe everyone here standing with me can say the same thing. So.
We want to help our fellow students and the community in need. We also want to engage in something that will allow us year-round activities. Our main goal with this program is to meet people where they are at and help lower the barriers to food access for fellow students in the community. From after school to the summer community garden, the goal is to provide an outlet for students to engage in the community and lower food access barriers.
What we are requesting is a Dress Down Day to help us raise money for things like hygiene products and fresh produce for the boxes. We also want to put a greenhouse out at each school to help students grow their education while growing produce for those in need.
We need money, no doubt about it, along with contacting different organizations for donations and contributions.
This for references? I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to us. Probably wasn't the best presentation, but
it was amazing.
Is there any questions?
We're very proud of you and your efforts, and this was a one-man show for a long time, and so Maddie, I can't thank you enough for taking this on and doing such great work with these young people, and you know, you are serving a great need in this area, and we just can't thank you enough, so.
You guys, you're incredible. I love you all. Thank you for bringing a vision alive. We talked about this for a long time. So thank you guys for taking this up. I don't get to spend a lot of time with you in class or anything, but to see you and the transformation you have come, you're walking taller, you're excited, you're engaged, and this presentation was phenomenal. I'm very proud of you. So thank you for carrying on this mission.
Now, are all of you in, let's say, middle school? No high schoolers here? Yeah.
We do have one high school, she's our lead, so she kind of takes charge in leading them how to go about
She's
them.
one who couldn't be here this
Yeah.
evening. Yeah.
Can you guys let the board know what grade levels you're in, just so they get an idea?
I'm in 7th grade.
I'm in 7th grade as well.
I'm in 7th.
Sixth and seventh grade.
Where is the garden? You actually have a garden plot somewhere?
It's
And
our,
where is it?
is it the 28th Street?
Yeah,
It's
25th
25th.
Street. All the acreage you have.
And how do you get your plants? Does somebody donate? What?
You started in the winter, planted them in seedlings.
Oh.
And that's what Maddie's background in education's in, and so they go from really seed to little pots to out to the acreage.
Year with, and that was just me working the garden most of the time. So this year, I'm hoping we can at least double that and see at least 10,000 pounds donated to those in need within our community. And with the help of Terrion, he's really taking the lead here. He's really strong-arming it. And I'm really excited to see what these kids do with the garden. I have no doubt they'll reach their goal.
Now, is the garden, do you have a greenhouse then at 25th Street or? just
No,
a-
we're actually trying to find a greenhouse to put out there. We would love to put one at each school to use agriculture as education for mathematics, chemistry, physics, technology. You can do traditional agriculture. You can use health and safety, food, nutrition classes there, but the byproduct will always be fresh produce for the community at low to no cost. So that way we are hitting two birds with one stone.
I have your list that you brought me tonight, and I have a person interested in helping us, so I'll see if we can't get most of the items off your list, okay?
Extension, Purdue Polytech. I've been working with them to help design a hydroponic system that is low cost and can sit on a tabletop. They are going to be accepting one of the very first models on behalf of APA, and they're going to go with me to Purdue. And yeah, so they're going to not only get to see what it is firsthand and what Purdue campus looks like. Terrion has stated he wants to go into hydroponics specifically when he grows up. So, yes.
I would also make some connection for you at Community Hospital. Community Hospital, I serve on that board, is a huge expansion. I don't know if you know that there is a garden there, a huge garden. And there are a number of new things that's going to happen out there. And I think that could be very helpful as well.
Yeah, I'm actually working with Ruthie.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I'm actually on the board myself of the Madison County Local Food Network. Yeah, so I'm excited to see what next year's gonna bring. I really want to kind of expand the hydroponic class into an agricultural class to really literally get kids dirty so their parents will get paid money. But no, but it's actually so we can expand what we're doing to a year-round type of our high school person, she's going to be doing a farmer's market this year over at 25th Street, I should say that.
Thank you for your compassion and commitment and for the advanced program, seventh graders. Wow. Keep up the good work. You're welcome to stay and listen to more about this boring meeting. You're welcome to leave, but we appreciate you being part of our meeting. So thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation. Good luck. Flight school starts when?
We're going to try to start it here in the next couple of weeks because there's a new program at the airport. It's called Superior Flight Training. So they just got the certification to start school. So hopefully I can come in the next couple of weeks. I'm excited.
You know, somebody on our board that might be able to help you.
Yeah, I think I never seen him my freshman year in the program.
Glad to see you. Yes, I think you should we do well.
Thank you.
Let me know if you need things.
Thank you. Okay, we have a field trip request.
Our senior class, they have decided that they would like to go on one last hurrah and go to Newport, Kentucky and Cincinnati, Ohio. It is just an out-of-the-state trip. We'll stay one day. They're not going to do any overnight or anything like that. They will take the Rainbow Bus to go. It is a student-planned trip with adult direction, but they have really gone through the whole process, and they want to go to the aquarium and they want to go to the zoo. So they're going to go out to lunch and dinner. That's it.
And if we're going to be part of the village, that would be.
Absolutely, I'm sure they would love to have you. If anyone wants to go to the zoo and the aquarium with our quirky seniors, you are invited. They will definitely entertain you.
And everybody gets to go?
Everybody that wants to go gets to go.
Without worrying about funding?
Right, if there's anybody that needs assistance with funding or anything like that, the transportation is already covered, so it's just admission into the thing, to the aquarium and the zoo, and we have funding to help with that.
Can I ask, I don't think I know, how many students do you have in the class of 22?
I think the count right now is 46. So it has, our junior and senior class are some of the lowest classes that we've had. A lot of that is due to the pandemic. Most of those, I think, how many in person do we have of that 46? 22, if that. A lot of the people, a lot of the students kind of in that gap, the juniors and seniors, getting them back into the school setting after the pandemic has been very challenging. A lot of them have had to work, and we do have several students, and this is happening across the country, several students that are of that age that are facing significant mental health challenges, whether it has really kind of changed a lot. Motivation, apathy, needing to go to a lot of appointments and getting help. But yeah, there have been a lot of kids across the country that just never came back to school, and not totally sure where they have ended up. So it's been kind of one of those parts of the pandemic that hasn't really been spoken about. I know higher ed, you guys are experiencing it. I know we've got at least 3 of you here at the table where the enrollment's just down. I've never seen anything like it. There's a worker shortage. Me too. I'm tired. And our kids are feeling it, our teachers are feeling it. These last, really since we came back from spring break, it's been better. In some ways, it's felt more normal. But a lot of our juniors and seniors, they're waiting for the other shoe to drop. looking forward to prom and some of those really big things. It's, yeah, we're kind of excited, but wait, is there gonna be another surge? Or is somebody gonna change seating capacity? We're really excited about AU right now. There's no restrictions for graduation, but everything we put out, we have to put an asterisk on, because we just don't know. It seems that we're okay, but it's, you know, it's been hard. So those are our two smaller classes. Our 9th and 10th grade are where we typically are. We are getting, our middle school, we are getting higher than we have been. And those areas, the demand for elementary is growing now, but the kids that we are experiencing, you know, with kindergarten, first, second, they're extremely developmentally behind, especially socially, because no daycare, or daycare was closed every other day or every other week, no preschool, and so this is just impacted, you know, pre-K to 16, year 20, somewhere in there for all of us. A lot of study committees have been formed and we're trying to find a solution, but we have to talk about the hidden part of the pandemic is we've got a lot of kids that just jumped into the workforce, and obviously we know that there are shortages there too,
So
On
we
that triple note.
entertain a motion to approve the field trip.
I'll make a motion that we approve the field trip to the Cincinnati area for 2022. I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Did that right for a change? Any further discussion? All four with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
They will be thrilled.
Jill, you want to talk about the annual computer purchase?
Yes. So because we have moved to one-to-one and we have been in this position at least 10 years at this point, we always have to do an annual computer purchase. Typically, we do that on July 1 when the new fiscal year begins and the new budget cycle happens. The last about 4 years, we have been struggling to get computers in time for the very beginning of school. We've adapted, but looking at the current supply chain, the numbers that we're being told is if we order in June, what we typically do, or July, we're not seeing those until at least November or December. And we actually had a lead. I feel like I'm back to the black market of hand sanitizer 2 years ago. We got a lead on a warehouse that had in stock of the Chromebooks that we are switching to. And so we were able to go ahead and purchase 85 of those with our gear money that I had written an amendment to change the purpose for. So we've got 85 of the 300 we need, but we still are going to need 250 more to be able to do our replenishment cycle. We do have enough computers that we can start the year. We do a 4-year replacement cycle, and once they get to that 4th year, they're hanging on with some duct tape, sometimes literally. So with this opportunity, because we just got the CFIG, we actually can shift that cycle. I can take money that we have used for our debt service from the month of January through May. We can actually put that to the CFIG grant and have that income come into this current fiscal year and this current budget cycle, which will then free up the remainder that we need to be able to purchase the 22-23 computers now. If we can get them ordered here April this week, then the hope is that we can get them August, September. We might be able to tap that warehouse again to get a few more from that stash. But for us, I think this will be a great move moving it forward in the future too, where we're not having to buy it right there in the summer. Our IT guys put a ton of hours in those 3 weeks right before school doing all the imaging. Our software engineers come in, and it's quite the operation, but if they could actually have some time to spread it out, it would also benefit them. So it's kind of a win-win, and at the end of the day, once we go through the reimbursement process, we would actually add $16,000 to our ending cash balance. So that is my proposal, and I had it very detailed for you this time.
Years past, we would often, usually we would have had to hit the bank for this with another lease, so it's good that, we don't have to do that.
Yeah, we have not had to finance, this would be year 4.
Okay.
And I asked Beth, you know, because we're always looking at debt service ratio, all that stuff, and encouraged us to keep using our cash.
Yeah.
So, we just updated the lab, just put the order in this week. We're not gonna get those 25 workstations till November or December. They don't care that it's Purdue University, we're not getting them because of supply chain. And having done this job for, 10 years or more, this would be great to be able to change the cycles that you're imaging and ghosting and preparing these units before the last couple weeks of school. So it's just more lean and more efficient and less stressful on your staff if you can do that. So.
I would like to make a motion that we accept the proposal.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll let you guys argue who went second. You can put it out. All right. Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. All 4 with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, go buy some computers.
Fantastic.
Online payment management.
The current online payment management system that we use through our website is called Trans Systems, also known as Trans Express, and they have run into security issues. We have updated our authentication process and protocols, as have many schools, and their software cannot pass those protocols anymore, and they said it would be a 6 to 10 month fix, which means we currently cannot accept online payments from our families for anything. And so we need to find a new company that can meet those security protocols. Some of the names that bounced around would be something similar to having PayPal or having PayPal. We also are going to be exploring the option of using the apps where you can do Venmo or something of that. So basically, I just need to propose to you that we change our vendor, and that's my proposal, because we need to be able to accept online payments.
I make a motion that we approve the online payment management updated system.
I'll second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I think it's a good idea. Venmo is actually owned by PayPal.
Okay.
As far as what we do in the government is we actually pay, if I wanted to say, the guard wanted to pay money to the APA, the most efficient, quickest way is actually PayPal.
Okay. That sounds like a contender.
It's high with that as well too, for, I assume it's really like business, and then there's certain taxes and stuff, but as well as you go in a certain dollar amount, you gotta watch out for. I know from having businesses and certain things, so I just wanna make sure, that's all.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll be working with Beth on this once, although she was texting me during the meeting, so she's alive and well, everybody.
Oh.
She says she won't be running any marathons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had issues with other schools that they didn't have PayPal or anything, and they actually have to go to the band or theater department, and sometimes I even pay a school's cafeteria because parents can put money into the cafeteria account. I kind of like, why don't you just create an account?
Well, and for our families, when we have a field trip, if they can just, oh, you need $20,
Yeah.
Venmo it over. I'm not sure about using Cash App so much on that, but something comparable. I think it's a win-win all around, so thank you.
If I can ask one other thing, I know we've already had a motion for this, but you said with the website, you mentioned beforehand that there has been a revamp of what our current website is. Is that still in progress as well?
It is.
Okay.
We are very near completion on this, and this will also help us integrate with the new program. So the website, it's going through Aptogee, and we will have our own APA app, and so then it can link with all these systems and have the two-factor, there we go, two-factor authentication. So it's going to be really cool. We're very, very excited.
Thank you, Joe.
Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. All 4 with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. CEO contract. We as a finance committee met, and We are in arrears of paying a bonus to our superintendent, and I'll let, I don't know who was gonna make the proposal. We discussed an amount.
We thought you were.
No, I can't.
Oh, you can't.
I can't.
Oh, that's right, yes, well, okay. Well, Mike is correct. We, see, actually Lori got with Kim, and we were able to review our executive CEO compensation bonuses and everything going clear back to the beginning. And we've discovered there were several years where no bonus was given.
Not several, but.
Well, there was a reason why sometimes.
I think
under both
COVID was the biggest.
Yes, the
culprit.
COVID thing. So there were 2 years that nothing was given, and we feel that that needs to be rectified. And those would be the 2 most recent years under which we were under the COVID regime. So we were thinking that $5,000 per year was a fair, justifiable, and affordable amount. As Mike has alluded to in our earlier discussions, unlike many of our prior years as a startup, we always were a little bit tight on resources, but we're in a very strong cash position now, and we feel that we have the ability to do what we need to do to make sure that we fairly compensate and retain our excellent people.
So not only do we have the ability, but it is well-deserved with
Yes.
the management over this very trying time. So on behalf of the board, I will give you our humble apology for overlooking this. We had some transition of the board officers, and so we have a proposal.
Can I ask a question?
You may.
Okay, so you said 5,000 per year, and that's in arrears, what?
That's the last 2 years, does not count this calendar year.
Okay, so it would be a total of 2 years for 10,000.
Correct.
Right, yeah.
I just wanted to clarify.
That's where I was getting at too.
Okay, so, well, let's see, that would be 2019, 2020, no bonuses received, and then 2020, 2021.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we need a motion. Are you making a motion?
Are we making a motion just for
Oh,
every
me, or-
item? Or are we going to make a motion for a total package of anything?
Depends on
I
what the
think it
motion
makes
is.
sense, yeah. If we have other things that we need to vote on with regards to.
The bonus is what we're making a motion on right now.
We'll get to the contract later.
Right. Are you making a motion, Dave?
Well, okay, I'll be glad to
Is
make
that
a
what-
motion here. Yeah. Okay.
I'm just.
Well, I was letting the suspense
So
build
you
a
were
little
talking
bit
about
here,
it,
yeah.
is that in the form
Okay.
of a motion, or?
Okay,
Just-
I will make a motion that Jill be given a bonus in the amount of $5,000 for the 2019-2020 school year, and an additional $5,000 as a bonus for the 2020-2021 school years.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All four with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. I'm not sure how we go about requesting that money, but,
Well, there's
Kim?
your payroll person. Kim,
Yes.
I'm here.
How are you
Kim,
doing,
what do we
Kim?
need to do?
I will send it out over in the morning and ask for them to give her the 10,000.
Okay, do you need a signature from, probably need a signature from the,
I probably
You probably need a signature
typically
from
an
both
yeah.
Lori and myself.
Typically, an email has sufficed in the past for any of that stuff.
Send us an email and we'll follow up. Okay?
Yes, send us an email asking for that request, and he and I will approve it, send it back.
Okay.
Okay?
Will you be available in the morning?
I'll make myself available. I'm driving to Richmond, but I'll do it, unless you do it early.
I can go home and do it tonight and send it to both.
That'd be
Perfect.
great.
Perfect.
Great.
I have a comment. Jill, for your financial sake, in regards to back payment when it comes for us, we're given the option sometimes to take like anything over $10,000 as, you know, 2 partial payments, so the taxes aren't as bad. I maybe asked the board that we consider that, especially she can consider that if she decides to.
Okay.
You'll get hit hard if it's over 10,000.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 $5,000 payments might not hit you as hard as one big 10,000, but that's your call.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I would think the
Good to
taxes
know.
would be a little less radical. I don't know.
It is.
So what you're saying is we want to do one on this payroll and one on the following?
It's her call.
Yeah, it's up to her, but I
It's
want to
up
make
to
the board
you.
aware
Yeah,
that
that's fine.
Well, I'm in the home
Pretty sure.
tonight, so.
We can do it either way, but I think you might take home more.
Yeah. Two's works. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. We have all received, the Finance Committee, David, Lori, and I got together and worked out a contract. Thank you for all of your work. We've met a couple of times on the contract and fleshed it out. We did make comparisons to other superintendent compensation packages that are being paid to other superintendents in the county. And then we've looked at trend lines and just
I
this.
interviewed too as well.
Yep. So what we did is we put together what you have all received at the last board meeting. Jill has not seen this contract. We need to vote on the contract as you've been presented. And if the contract is accepted by the board and approved by the board, I will hand Jill a copy of the contract and she can sign it before she leaves tonight. Oh, wait a minute, you might want to look at it.
I might want to review
I wanna read it
that. I would
now.
not be very good at my job if I did.
I'm kidding. That was a joke. Although, I would probably sign it. No, that's fine. So, so I need a motion to approve the contract as presented.
I'll move that we approve the contract as presented last board meeting.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
So I do have a question though. Is this the full contract or is there any additional
That's it.
jobs, duties, or
That's
anything
it.
else attached to
This
it?
is
That's
it.
the entire thing.
It includes PTO, it includes vacation days, it includes retirement.
Try to keep it simple.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to have all that boilerplate.
And it is a 3-year contract, and that's what we had negotiated the first time.
Let's see, there is there certain things that are to be done. Boardable is mentioned, and it calls for an interaction between the board and CEO. I think maybe some initial steps were already taken, and neither side was quite sure what we were getting at. Would it be appropriate to share what our vision of boardable would be? That might help both parties or all of us here understand what we're all looking for, and then we won't have any confusion on updates and quarterly meetings. So I don't know who can address that best.
Well, Ryan and I have used it in other lives, so I'll start. Ryan, you chime in, but it's just a way for us to be accountable to each other, to the school, to the stakeholders, to Jill, vice versa, by keeping us very streamlined and structured and keeping everything current and out there and up to date. You know, where I was before, you had a version that the public could get to and a version that was behind the firewall that just authorized users could get to, but it's our internal controls. It's, you know, it's our document management, it's our protocols, it's our agendas, it's signing off on executive sessions, things we've not done before this year. And that's just a way to keep us on track and honest, I believe. Brian?
Absolutely. I agree with that, and that's why we have that feature now is, again, is just trying to keep everything in one housing area and just keeping that structure in place or what we want to do moving forward.
Now, let's see, a lot of our internal control documents that I think we've all gotten better acquainted with since our last board training session. We talked about, we want those posted as well. I know Beth is updating the key financial internal controls document. That sort of stuff we want on there. And I'm thinking then that we do need, I think, was it a quarterly, some kind of update or like a committee or something on that. So I think, just from what I had heard, I think there was some initial attempts to coordinate that, but it sounded to me like neither side quite understood what we were trying to do. That's why I thought that.
Well, I don't think you ever want an auditor to come in and we're scrambling to update it, to be current, to have
yeah.
the latest revision. If you put that into place as part of your foundation and incorporate Jill's input and you do quarterly updates and meetings with each other, then you're never fearful of when the auditor is going to drop in or that our stuff's ever out of compliance or out of date.
As long as it's housed and organized on there.
Yeah, usually not good to scramble with the auditors.
No, absolutely.
I
Okay.
hate that, nervous in that.
For the public's knowledge, we've never had that as a bad audit comment or anything like that, I promise. So, we do have internal controls.
That's not part of the contract
Okay.
per se, so.
Right.
Let's stay on topic. So, any further discussion about the contract? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All for approving the contract as presented that will begin on July 1st, 2022 and expire on June 30th, 2025, with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Here's your contract.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And just so you know, as a sidebar, that her contract as written was included without her being aware in the proposed new budget.
Yeah.
So it was taken into account, so.
Wasn't labeled as such.
Yes, so.
Yeah, it was in there.
Okay.
Try to hide where the hidden veggies are then.
We'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
A motion to adjourn the meeting, today's board meeting on April 26th here.
Second?
Okay, we've got a motion and a second for adjournment. All four with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Same sign, opposed? Okay, we will reconvene in 5 minutes.